All right, so Professor Charles Nesson from Harvard University, our professor of law, has been very instrumental in making this connection a reality as well. He was just here, but there's always this probably roving, you know, probably doing some search for the best strains as we're speaking. So we're going to ask his wife, Ms. Furness, who's also from the Harvard School of Law, to say a few words.
First, I want to tell you I'm going to kill Charlie for disappearing right now. Secondly, thank you. We feel honored to be here. It's been an honor to meet every one of you. The work has been amazing, and please come and talk to us. We want to meet everyone we haven't met already. Thanks very much for having us.
Yes, again, I give thanks, you know. Just as I and I was apart, so some individuals were about to depart, you know what happened? The rain come down. And then all of us have to come back together. So it's a reason. Well, Prof is here. Now, after Prof, there's a marriage, there's a Ganja marriage, a Cannabis marriage, a marijuana marriage that is so put your hands together. All manner of things that's happening, you know? And I want to give thanks to everything that is happening. I think, you know, somehow we might not have planned it certain way, but it is happening that way. And we give thanks, you know? Now, Rick is here to perform a marriage, a Ganja marriage. But before Rick, we want to ask you to put your hands together and welcome Professor Nesson. Fern. I have been many moments that I have spent with Prof. Being at his home in Boston, being introduced to his students at Harvard, being taken to interviews upon interviews. I've spent so much time with Professor Nesson. And it reminds me, because to be honest, I never used to relate to white people. I'm telling you the truth. Right? That's the honest truth. But along the way, I have learned a lot. That you don't judge people because of their color. Because, like His Majesty Haile Selassie said, until the philosophy that holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. And until there is no more first class and second class citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin has no more significance than the color of his eyes, until maliciousness, bigotry, and inhuman self-interest is replaced by goodwill and understanding for all, then the dream of true lasting peace, world citizenship, and the rule of international morality will be but a fleeting illusion to be pursued, but never attained. There will be. Give thanks. Put hands together.
Building up to this meeting that took place in my office. And I thought, well, yes, this was an amazing thing that happened. What happened was that Fern and I came down, I think in February, and somehow I got a speaking place at the Future Growers Conference in Kingston in, I think it was April, perhaps, something. Future growers, I mean, it sounded fine, until I realized that you had to sign an affidavit that you were not a present grower in order to be a future grower. Now just think about that for a moment. We're in Kingston. We're in a community where the capital is in the east and the farms are in the west. And all of a sudden, as marijuana is about to become legal, there is the future growers, which are all a bunch of people who I don't think are ganja farmers. Well, I had the pleasure of speaking at this meeting. It was a wonderful meeting. It was in a very distinguished environment there in Kingston. And it leads off in the Jamaican way with one person after another getting up and supporting what's going on. And each person that got up to support, the law had not yet been passed, you understand. Each person would get up and they'd say, well, I don't smoke cannabis, I don't use cannabis, but I do support this legislation, and would then go on with a flowery speech about how they supported it. And as I got up to speak, Fern grabbed my coat and said, tell them you smoke. And so I had the first words were, I'd just like to say that I smoke ganja. And the place went wild. I mean, it was like a hero. Well, it was after that I realized that there's something out of balance here. And I read a magnificent story in I don't know, Cleaner, Observer, but it was a story about this leader in Westmoreland who was ready to take to the streets if there wasn't some recognition for the small farmer and the need of the small farmer to actually get some money before the big capital bought them out. And he invited me to come to this meeting out in Orange Hill, which is the one that Rick talked about. That's where Rick and I connected up with this. And it did. It led to this amazing meeting in my office with Mark and Michael Kennedy. You should know Michael Kennedy was a civil rights lawyer. Old guy like me, back from the 60s doing civil rights law, who then started defending marijuana people in trouble, and eventually High Times, when all censorship and discrimination kinds of things, and eventually becomes the leader of High Times. That's Michael Kennedy. Michael and Mark and me and Rick and the spirit of Rastafari. It was in the room. It was in the room. So I just want to say, I feel so blessed to be able to help IFE. Fern and I are both Harvard lawyers. I signed on for $1 to represent IFE and Rasta Inanity in the process of trying to bring this whole thing together. Fern isn't even taking $1. That's the way it goes. So wonderful to see where it is. The very interesting thing to see is where is it going to go. I want to say I'm a law professor, Harvard Law School. The reason I am interested in this is it is a phenomenally interesting story how a community that has been outlawed becomes a legal community. It's not just like magic. There are many, many, many decisions along the way. How does that work? That is like a big legal question that I want to study, I want to understand, I want to teach, I want to pass on knowledge to those who are involved in the process. So when Mark speaks about education, all right, that's where I come in. Thank you very much.